Good afternoon. Welcome again with Friday with Fred. Today I have three very important people with me. Pastor Lyons right here. I've been knowing her for about a year. And you got Dr. Gates, right? Dr. Okay, and the brother is the how you say his name?
Giovanni.
Giovanni. Get to the
Giovanni.
Okay, all right. Put the mic up top.
Dr. Sherry Gaither.
Okay, me no pastor. Now we're going to talk about today about domestic violence, in our community, all over the world. Matter of fact, I grew up in that type atmosphere of men beating on women and stuff. It's crazy. I think statistics said that Georgia was leading in domestic violence on women. Understand that guy? So we're gonna let Pastor Lyons take over and go with this because like she was here before, and let's talk about it because I see you and feel your pain, but I haven't been whooped like that, with things I saw. So I respect you highly, and that's my passion. I never will put my hands on a woman. I'll leave her before I hit her. And it's just not right. My father was, you see me, you see my father, physical father, and he used to tell my mama, and then I could do by the time I got a little older, and like I told the pastor, can't nobody cry like a woman, and can't nobody pray like a woman. So beating on people and all that is just crazy. So go ahead, Pastor Lyons, and tell about the program that you're going to have. I think it's, so go ahead, sister.
First, we just want to say thank you to WAIN TV and to Minister Fred Grogan for the Fridays with Fred segment. We want to thank you for having us back again.
You're more than welcome.
It's a pleasure to be back again, and I'm just so honored to be joined today with Dr. Sherry Gaither from Stronghold Christian Church, which is a staple within the Lithonia community here in Georgia. And she, in her own right, is a public figure, a woman of God. She's a preacher of the highest magnitude, and she is Stronghold Christian. I'm working with her and Stronghold Christian Church from Pain to Purpose, which is my organization, a domestic violence awareness organization within the community. We're partnering with Stronghold Christian Church to bring the level and the intensity of domestic violence. And this year we're also dealing with teen dating violence. We're bringing that to the community to have the community leaders and the community join together to answer the call of accountability that we have as people in authority within the community, as spiritual authority in the community, and as political authority, legal authority, whatever it is. We are calling the community together on Saturday, October the 13th at Stronghold Christian Church, which is located at 724 Rock Chapel Road in Lithonia. Where we're coming together to let the community know and let our leaders know that these issues of domestic violence and teen dating violence they're serious issues, and we need to come together under the theme of united to empower a generation. So this is not just for women, this is not just for men, this is for men, women, children, teens, and young adults. We're really trying to focus a lot on the young people because they are the ones that are being affected, even inside of a home. People think a lot of times it's just the woman that's affected, or even men we know are also affected by domestic violence. But you have children that suffer in silence. You have children that are abused. And you have so much going on. And now we have that same spirit transferring over to teen dating violence and young adult dating violence. And the CDC actually reports that 72% of 8th and 9th graders date, that they're dating. And more than half of them have seen teen dating violence within their own peers' relationships. 72% is almost 100% of our 14, 15, 13-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And to have that much dating already, and then to have violence in their relationships, we have to do something about this, Dr. Gaither. And I'm just so honored to work alongside Stronghold to be able to bring this event to the community. And I'm going to stop and turn it over to Dr. Gaither. And we also want to we've been blessed. We're building, the rally is going to be off the chain.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be off the chain, Giovanni?
Absolutely.
It's going to be off the chain. It's not, you bring in young people, you got to have something for young people. We're going to talk about a lot of that. But Giovanni Emmanuel Bazan is, and if I can pronounce your last name wrong, correct it. He is our national youth. He's a national youth speaker who travels all over the world speaking. He's done CNN. He's done legislative advocacy. He's a representative an advocate for the foster care system. He's going to tell his story, but he has a video on Facebook that I've been putting out, and on YouTube I've just been sending out. If you look at that video, phenomenal how God has transformed his life. But he is going to be at the rally to charge those young people. He is going to set them on fire and let them know that you don't have to have these kind of relationships in your life. So that's what we're here to do today, to talk about what we plan to do on the 13th of October. So you guys go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that we are so honored and pleased to have Pastor Amber to her passion for domestic violence is so great, not just here in Atlanta, but she started out in New York and made a mark and brought awareness and caused people to want to do something about a subject matter that, as long as it wasn't their home, their community, their church, it didn't matter. But because of her passion, because of her desire to bring about change, she alone was I won't say she was alone, but she was a voice to be reckoned with. And since she has been in the metro Atlanta area, she has connected, because we believe in the power of partnershiping. And we believe that this is so important because, unfortunately and sadly enough, Atlanta or Georgia ranks in the top 2 or 3. I think we were in the top 10 at one point, and now we're in the top 3. Or we're number 6 for domestic violence. So let me just prophesy we'll never get to number 3. Exactly. But we're number 6, which is very alarming, very sad, and not what Atlanta needs to be known for. We don't need to be known for a violent city or a place where domestic violence has a foothold. And so the other thing that I am so blessed is that we in the church don't always talk about relevant subjects, yet these subjects and these activities are going on in the church at every level. And so this is an opportunity. Now, Stronghold is a community church. We are a resource for the community. So we are happy that it is free. We are happy that we're stretching and opening our doors for the community at large to be a part of this. It starts at 9 o'clock, October the 13th. That's a Saturday. And we're looking forward for people coming, bringing their teens, bringing young adults, being naked, unashamed, transparent, so that we can get help. We're here to help. We're here to make sure that that we can totally eliminate, but at this particular point that we can decrease the number of individuals who are victims of domestic violence. And you know, sometimes we think of the male-female, but it's an unhealthy environment for the children. And generally, you can go no further than your exposure, and ultimately, many times you start to do what you're exposed to. And so it is not, it's just not surprising that children or teenagers or young adults end up doing what they were exposed to. And therefore, we continue to repeat this cycle. It is something that needs to stop. And when I think about teenagers allowing themselves, young women allowing themselves to be violated, and acting as if they have no recourse, acting as if it's normal, acting as if a man hitting them is a sign of love. There is something wrong with that picture. And so we are believing, because of the individuals, because of the organizations, because of the counseling, because of so many people who are going to be here or at Stronghold that day, we believe that this is going to be the start of something great. Yes. And I am looking forward to your testimony and to your presentation and to everything that you are going to bring to the table. So why don't you just enlighten me a little bit?
Well, thank you. I'd first like to start out and say it's an honor to be here, to be amongst people who are so passionate about a very critical issue that not only plagues our communities and our homes on a social economic boundary, or racial boundary, or gender boundary. There really is ultimately no boundary that separates this from being relevant to one person to the next person. It's something that plagues us all. It's something that affects us all, and it's something that needs to be addressed immediately. And so it's an honor to be here amongst people who are so passionate about it. And so my passion, my journey has come through my experience in the foster care system and the juvenile justice system, having grown up in an abusive foster home, having grown up in circumstances and situations that were adverse, that ultimately resulted in me having to run away, having me going into the juvenile detention center, spending years locked up, spending years in group homes, foster homes, children's shelters, orphanages. And because I wasn't able to articulate in a concise and clear manner exactly what was transpiring in the home, I wasn't able to address the situation for what it was. And because of the emotional attachment that I had to my foster parents, the people who were closest to me, my guardians, the ones who were entitled to take care of me, the ones who were supposed to take care of me and really foster me with that sense of care, I wasn't able to articulate to them exactly what was transpiring. And because of that, we weren't able to address the issue until it was much later, when I was much older, and I was able to look back in retrospect. You know, the cliche, hindsight is 20/20. And now that I look back at it, I understand that I was not the victim. I was not the one, or I was the victim, but I was not the one to blame. The violent actions of others were not predicated off my actions, because I didn't do anything to deserve the abuse that occurred. And like so many of our youth, I work with youth in the foster care system and the juvenile justice system. I speak at schools, churches, organizations all over the country, from motivational speaking all the way up to legislative advocacy, influencing state, local, and national policy. And what I hear when I'm speaking to these youth, when I'm bringing to the legislators, when I'm bringing to the individuals who are writing these policies and laws, the main context of what's transpiring is that they are going through these experiences, and because they believe that the people who are older than them are honestly have their best interests at heart or truly care for them, they have this belief that, okay, well, this is my parent, and because this is my parent, I obviously deserve this. And even when you're in a relationship with somebody else, especially as youth and younger children, we're very susceptible, we're very impressionable to external influences, and especially when it comes to matters of the heart. And we tend to act upon our emotions more so than we tend to act upon our logic and what we know to be true. And so if we can take a step back and we can think clearly, and we can address these issues with a clear, logical sense of thinking, and say, okay, this is not okay, this is not what should be happening, and it needs to be addressed so that we can stop it. When you want to do better, you have to first know better. And so we have to address these youth. We have to tell them that, you know what, this is not okay. You are not supposed to have to experience this, and the person who is abusing you, the person who is affecting your life in this horrendous manner, needs to be brought to justice. And in order for them to find healing, in order for the perpetrator to find healing, and in order for the individual who's been abused, in order for them to find healing, they have to forgive. And that's one of the most important things as it pertains to people who have been abused, from young kids all the way up to adults. And the reason why this is so absolutely imperative, the reason why this is monumental, this evolution that we're doing here at the church, is because children, it's very cliche, but children are our future. And so how we deal with them in our present circumstance, how they're dealt with, how they're treated, how they treat each other's, and the behaviors that they're allowed to believe are okay in treating each other, their peers, that is going to influence their behaviors as it relates to their relationships when they get older, the way they treat their children, the way they treat their loved ones. Oftentimes, unintentionally, we tend to manifest the behaviors that were exhibited to us when we were younger. And so when we get to that point where it's time to have kids, or it's time to be in a relationship, you could love your partner with all your heart. But if all you know is this behavior, this set of behaviors, then that's exactly what you're going to exhibit, and it's going to adversely affect them.
Most definitely. You become a product of your environment. And unfortunately, we have a lot of that going on within our community today. I do teaching on with a lot of young mothers and young ladies on healthy versus unhealthy relationships. And the thing that that you see in them is this behavior. First of all, when you begin to teach them about what's healthy and unhealthy, or what's love versus abuse, they don't even know the difference a lot of times. A lot of them don't know that a lot of the behavior patterns that they exhibit towards their partner, whoever it may be, that they're abusive. And I find that the young ladies of today are very much more aggressive than in the former days, and sometimes they are a lot more aggressive than the guys. Sometimes the guys will walk away and they will come after them and still put their hands on them, or throw things at them, or curse at them, and so it's twofold. It's not just this is not just a women's issue. It's a male issue. It's a child's issue. This is an issue for the entire community. And you know what I hear? I hear a sound. Dr. Gaither and Giovanna, Minister Grogan. I hear a sound. I hear a sound happening on October the 13th, coming out of Lithonia, letting people know that we are not just going to take this laying down. We have children in our churches and our faith-based organizations, no matter where it is whether it's your temple, whether it's your synagogue, no matter where, we have people that are dying, and we need to help this generation. As adults, we have to unite together and say, we're here to empower you. We don't want you in these type of relationships, and we know it's a hard topic to broach. People don't like to talk about it. It's an ugly topic. We rather run, we rather hide, put our legs between our head between our knees. We'd rather do anything than to address it head on. But this sound is addressing this head on. And everyone who I've connected with so far is blown away by what we're doing. And it's not to say that no one else is doing it, but they are blown away with this rally and how we're putting it together, and we want to let the young people know you're not going to be bored with just a bunch of speeches. We're going to have rap, we're going to have drama, we're going to have upbeat stuff happening to engage you, to let you know this is about you. This is about adults standing together with our future, which are there are people of today, of now. The minds of our young people are just so brilliant, but a lot of times they can't carry the load of going through things, or wiser but weaker generation. And we need to empower them, to strengthen them, to undergird them, to let them know that you have people that care about you. You have people that love you. You have a young person that's right here going around this world telling young people you don't have to become a product of your environment. You don't have to let what the enemy meant for evil be what he's going to do. Let God help you to empower yourself to be able to turn that bad into good. You can transform your life. You can learn. And the thing about it is, when I work with some of these young ladies in these classes and workshops, if you're acting like that with your partner, what's happening with your children? You have some young girls they're 18 and 19, they're already on their second and third child. So we have a work to do.
And I think what's so important is, again, we don't even realize how unhealthy we are and the environment in which we're bringing up our children, and that they're being exposed, you both said it, exposed to seeing these actions played out in front of them. So it is no coincidence, and it shouldn't surprise us that we're perpetuating such activity. Now, the challenge we have is that October is Domestic Violence Month, and we have a way of rallying for a month, and then it dies down. But we're hoping that this becomes the starting point of something that where churches and schools and organizations will engage people throughout the year, because this is something that has to be hit head on. And it is nothing that can be done in a month and expect that it's going to destroy all of the anger the anger management type of things that we're seeing happening. It has got to be the start of something bigger. Now, again, this is a community rally, a community forum, and we're hoping that people will come out and not try to continue to hide, put under the rug act as if it doesn't happen in their home. This is something that's happening every day. We will have police officers, individuals who handle domestic violence calls every single day. On television, there was a time, unfortunately, here in Metro Atlanta, where there were death after death or beating after beating, and we were beginning to wonder what was going on here, where women were being violated. And now what is so very, very sad, and you hit on it, is the fact that our teenagers are exhibiting the same type of characteristics at a younger age that we would see in 30s and 40s, but we're seeing it in teenagers in high school and middle school. And if we don't show them that this is not cute, that a young man raising his voice to you and a young lady accepting the threats and feeling as though she doesn't have a way of escape at 14, 15, and 16, that if you do it at 14, 15, and 16, you are prone to allow it at 22, 23, 30, 35. And so the other thing you mentioned was we seem to think that it is just a female challenge. But because I do so much counseling, I do see where there are men who try their best to hold their anger, to not become aggressive, to not become assertive, to try to walk away, and yet there is a young woman, a teen woman, who will get in their face. Now, the thing is, we always want to make fun of the man. But if we understand, and I'm sure you do, that when a police officer comes, he's initially looking at the man as to being the perpetrator, and the woman being the victim or the teenager. But when you find that it is the woman who is aggressively attacking the man, and he realizing that I don't want to go to jail, then it's turned around. And so we do need to, for young people, and to understand that you don't want a criminal record. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to go down like this. And so it is important that we understand that the law is here to hold us accountable. And that it is important that if we have anger management problems, if we can't control ourselves, if we've got this pent-up anger as a result of things that have happened in our home and in school, that there are places and there are people and there are organizations and counselors who can help us walk through those areas of our life. It's important that we know that we're not alone.
Okay, good. Now, hold that mic. You hold it. I got some questions to the doctor. She's the member of what church?
She is the...
I co-pastor Stronghold Christian Church.
So that's when we had a rally at, right?
Yes,
That's when you say you do a lot of counseling?
Yes, because we believe that every church, is nothing more than a spiritual hospital.
Are you the first lady of the church?
I am the co-pastor, yes.
Okay, you're the first lady. So, your counseling, you do most counseling with people inside the church and outside the church. Counseling. Tell me, when you counsel them, what questions or what do you say to them?
Well, when someone comes in and...
So I don't beat my wife up. I don't beat Pastor Ron.
Let's just say that you... I know. That you have come in and because you know that you have a problem with anger management, and for some reason you demonstrate it when you get home. So one of the things I would ask you is, what's going on in your life? What causes you to become so angry that you can't control yourself? Well, I want to get not at the symptoms. The symptom would be you take it out on your family, your wife and your children. Okay. But the root, what's the root of this? Where is this coming from? The fact that you come home and you've had a bad day or certain things are going on, that's the symptom. The root is much deeper. And so until we can get to the root as to why you're angry and you don't have self-control and what is it that's causing you to manifest this, then we can't help you or anybody else. Now, so often we always want to blame shift. We want to make it where, they may be angry, they didn't listen. It's always never the fault of the person who's actually doing the violence or orchestrating the challenges. And so until that person is willing to say, I have a problem, I want help, I recognize where I am, and that's the first step towards anything. It's identifying and understanding I have a problem. Nobody's judging you, but until you can get to the point of realizing you have a problem, then nobody can help you.
Okay. Pastor, Doctor, was you abused?
Yes, I came out of a abusive marriage about 30-some years ago. Yes. Yes, I did.
Jeez.
1 in 4 women.
You get my, you gonna let you talk? Because I want the audience to understand that each one of you all have been in domestic violence situations. That's what we want the people to know. I know what you've been through. You was right in that church, whipping on you, so beating on you. So this program Sister Pastor Line started, and I really pushed one of her to do this because it's born out of here, out of the station, our love for her and my love for women's. Not it's just crazy. So we're going to just continue to grow nationwide, not only here, and go all over the world, and take it all the way to Washington D.C. if necessary, because it's out of hand. I saw a young man strap with a young lady, I think it was last week, and over at the Subway place over there. So sisters and brothers, that's my passion, because I get to crying. She know that we're talking about it, because my mind will go back what I saw, when I was growing up. And beating on women, and like you said, it's both ways. But that's what I saw.
Well, let me ask you something. You said what you saw growing up. Years ago, people didn't deal with it. People always like to keep whatever goes on at home stays at home, and we don't share, we don't talk about it. How do you think people handled just holding it in, not dealing with it, acting as if it didn't happen, yet there were visible signs? You could tell a woman had been abused.
Oh yeah. Well, you could tell my mother had been abused, but when I dealt with it, I'm the oldest of them all, and I knew that I had to change. And when I was much younger, I just didn't want to do that. So I dealt with it. I really came to grips of it in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. We taught not to beat no woman, protect the black woman, protect the woman. And back in 68, 69, up to date. So don't whoop on women. But my mom, she's gone on now. My dad is gone on now. But I could not choose either. I can judge either one of them. I have that right. But I know that I used to hear her cry and fight, but as I got older, no more. The guys started growing up and, had grown with muscle and mustache. Me and my brothers now, we took care of that.
But let me ask you this, because you mentioned forgiveness. How did you walk through forgiving your father?
I forgave him.
How? It sounds easy, but there's someone listening who's saying, I can't forgive. I've seen too much. And I don't know how you help people to walk through those steps in that journey, but that sounds easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but if you now I'm talking about me now. I can't speak for no one else. I just forgave, because I knew that if I didn't, it would have an effect on me. You have to have atonement, and I knew that, and I know that God teaches us, to forgive. Regardless of what a person do to you or say to you, you forgive them. And I learned that in my life. So yes, I learned to forgive by studying and reading and knowing that, because my love for both of them. I forgave them. So Jesus said, I think it's one of his last commandments where he left them: love you one another like I love you. So I forgave. So I learned it. I grew with it. And I was determined not to be that way, because that's just me. That's my nature. And I know that my father, my physical father, is not my spiritual father. When God say do it.
And speaking from a youth perspective, and I know Dr. Sher, you talked earlier about the importance of partnerships and how important that is. And like my best friend Octavia says, life is a collaborative effort, and it's that collaboration that helps us move forward at any stage that we're at, because the people that surround us, we're not perfect beings. And we don't have all the answers. We don't have everything that we need as an individual. We have to constantly accept impartations from people who are wiser than us, who are stronger than us in different areas, and who can constantly charge and challenge us and motivate and basically inspire us. And so for youth, going through what I went through, I was able to get through that because of my peers, because it was my peers who I was riding next to on the school every morning on the school bus. I would get on the bus, and I was, I had just been beaten, or I'd been beaten that night, or I hadn't eaten in some days, or whatever the case may be, and I would get on that bus, and he was just a regular guy. He was my friend, but he was that angel to me, because he allowed me to whisper in his ear what I felt I couldn't speak to anybody. And so understand that the power that you have, even because there's some people who are watching who are passionate about this but have not experienced the abuse. So understand the power that you have, the healing power that you have, just by listening, just by telling somebody it's okay. And I wasn't able to address the sexual abuse that I encountered until I was 18 years old, and it happened, all the way up until I was 12 years old. So, and then I left the home, and of course it stopped. So, when I was 18 years old, 6 months after it had stopped, 6 years after it had stopped, was the first time that I was able to actually address it for what it was. And it took my peers telling me and constantly letting me know that, Giovanni, you're cool. Don't worry about it. What you went through, yeah, it sucked, but at the end of the day, that's not who you are anymore. You're in a different place now, so move on. And understand this, we're not here to judge you, Giovanni. Yeah, you went through that, and that happened to you, but we don't look at you any differently just because of something that happened to you back then. And that's something that's so powerful, is to have that acceptance and to have that support from those who are close to you, whether you're a youth and it be your peers. And it took a man who was very close to me, before the first person I ever opened up to about the sexual abuse that I encountered. It took him telling me, Giovanni, you are not a victim. Giovanni, you are not a victim. And of course I call him Pops. He's probably one of the closest male mentors in my life to me. And he let me know that I did in fact experience that abuse, but I was not a subject of that abuse. That the abuse, the pain, everything, all of that ended when the abuse stopped. And it was then my decision, because we want people to come in, and we want people to come in on a white horse with, knight in shining armor, and to really save us. And what we have to understand is we have everything inside of us already that we need. Everything is inside us that we need. You have the power to help someone out of their situation, whether you're a teenager and you have a peer and you feel like they're going through something, whether you're an adult and you're looking at someone who's younger and you offer your ear to allow them to speak into your ear and just to provide that support to them, to let them know it's okay. You've been through what you've been through, but it's okay. You're out of that situation. You're around people who love you, who care about you. We're going to walk through this together. And when my mentor, when he sat there and he told me, Giovanni, you are not a victim, I broke down and I cried. And as men, and especially young men, and I guess speaking from my youth, from having been a youth or a young person, we're so concerned about the way people see us, about the way females perceive us, because of course, in school, it's not cool to be emotional. It's not cool to be going through something. We all want to be part of the hype. We all want to be, what's in style. We all want to be swagged up and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we have to understand what's going on inside of us. And if we can't address that, it doesn't matter how swagged out we are, how stylish our clothes are, how clean and fresh we are, or whatever the case may be. If we're not right on the inside, if we haven't addressed what's going on the inside, then all of that is irrelevant, and it's going to do more damage in the future than it will do good. So address what's happened to you. Give an ear to those who have gone through situations. Be a beacon of light for them just by listening to them and telling them that they are not a victim and they have the power to move on. Be that support for them. And if it's you, understand that you can move past this. You have the power inside you to move past this. The testimony is that you have gone through the situation and you are still here. And it may not be an ideal circumstance, and it may have been extremely painful. Like if it was anything like what I went through, it was an exceptionally painful process. But the fact that I am still here today is a testimony in and of itself of the greatness that each and every one of us possess. If I can do it, you can do it.
Now tell me, how long was you in that abuse situation? How long?
I went into foster care when I was 11 months old. I went to the abuse foster home when I was 3 years old, and I did not leave that foster home until I was 12 years old.
That same home?
That same home, yeah.
And at home, I could see, that's when you was abused?
Yes.
By the mother or by the father?
It was, I had 2 mothers, and so, 2 foster moms, okay. And so, initially, and just to go into understanding how we intend to manifest our feelings and turn that into aggression, my original foster mom did not want to keep me in a foster home. She had found a family for me, and she was like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and give you to a new family. Her partner was dying of cancer when I was around 6 years old, and she said, do not give Giovanni away because we want him to be in a safe home. We want him to have at least some sense of stability. And so she agreed to keep me. And when her partner died, she felt resentment towards me because she felt like she didn't want me. She never intended to keep me. And she immediately jumped into another relationship as soon as her mother died, or as soon as her partner died. And so she never allowed herself the grieving process to, one, get over the grief of her partner passing away, and 2, the resentment that she had, the innate, inadvertent resentment that she had towards me of having to keep me. And so I think she unintentionally manifested her aggression towards me because of what she had experienced, not necessarily that she had in spite or spite for me or animosity towards me, because then that's what happens a lot of times in relationships. We don't directly hate somebody, and so we abuse them. People tend to care about people. People tend to love people, and it's that confusion of emotion. It's that mixed, managed expression of anger, of pain, of hurt, of what you've experienced that causes us to hurt other people. And so when I was 12 years old is when I got out of the abusive foster home, and it wasn't until I was 21 years old last year that I was able to sit back down with my foster parents at separate occasions and sit down with both of them and say, I don't know if you even understand what I went through. I don't know if you can understand the impact, the significant and tremendous impact that your actions had on my life and how that could have ended me. But the fact of the matter is, I know that 1, in the bottom of your heart, 1, you love me. 2, I love you. And 3, I know that what you did is not who you are. And being able to see past that, being able to see past the actions of somebody versus who they are as a person, I was able to say, you know what, I don't know if you can accept this, but at the end of the day, I forgive you, and I still love you. And that's what I needed to do, and that's what everyone who experiences abuse needs to do in order to move on so that they can have a healthy life, so that they can feel the liberation, the freedom, the removal of this heavy, sickening, depressing burden that bears down on all of us. And for the youth out there, understand this: you are so incredibly strong, because there are adults who do not want to deal with the type of feelings and emotions that come with this abuse. And the fact that you are dealing with them, the fact that you're still there, you are so strong. Never allow anybody to take away the power that you know you have on the inside of you.
Okay. Well, everything gonna be all right. Just smile and keep on moving, and it's painful, and but I know that there's a more stronger force that wrote it. You know, we might not see it, but we can feel. Well, walk by faith, not by sight.
Yes.
So, young man, I don't know what you went through. I can imagine. You know, because I'm 65 now. Going on 65. I look like I'm 65. That's line.
Of course not.
I'm 65. And we got about another 30 minutes or so, but I want you back, and the First Lady, back and let's talk about this again, because we can't let this go on anymore. People have to see you, and get in contact with you, you know, and for you can minister to them. You know, personal lines, a lot of people come through here, but on the other end of TV, they will get in contact with you, you know, and I know that for a fact, you know. So, but I learned to love her. You know, I fell in love with her. You, that's the line. I fell in love with her because when I first met her, she was at Mount Sinai, and she was teaching up there, and I was there. And I know that the pain that she went through as being see, I never dreamed that this stuff was going on in church. The preachers was doing it. I never did. I couldn't fathom that, you know. But looking back, my uncle, Bishop Wogan, was abusive to my auntie, you know, because you know, she's still living, but he's gone. But I couldn't imagine that a pastor being, you know, that way towards a woman and what she went through, and she came out strong, and that's why I love her so much, because I want her to get this to the people. We're gonna rattle this thing, you know. I mean, we got to go bigger than this. We can't let this keep going on.
Absolutely.
We can't. Go ahead, Pastor. You know you want to talk.
I just want to just clarify some things in regards to domestic violence. Domestic violence, the thing that people recognize about domestic violence is the physical, and that's not just the only form of domestic violence and abuse. Domestic violence is a cycle and a pattern of behavior to exhibit power and control over one individual or over another, but it's exhibited in various forms. It's exhibited physically, a push. If you're in a relationship with someone and they push you, that can be considered, that's abusive. No one has the right to put their hands on you. Pushing, hitting, kicking, slapping, spitting, choking, all of those things, beating, I mean, all of those things are considered, they are abusive. Verbal abuse is something that if somebody gives you a black eye or cut you, eventually it may heal. But those words that are spoken over you and into your spirit, and you can take someone that is a strong person and tear them down to nothing with your mouth. And that's the thing that we have to recognize. It's not just physical. If people don't see you come in with a black eye or broken arm or ended up in the hospital or dead, then they don't feel that there's any abuse going on. But that is so far from true. You have so much verbal abuse. You have financial abuse, exhibiting the power over the finances over one individual over another, and not just you not giving that person money. How about you holding yours back and making them spend all of theirs, and not having an equal balance financially? That's abuse and abuse of power as well. You have a sexual abuse, being forced to commit sexual acts with that person or others. You have so many various psychological, playing mind games, intimidating you, trying to play tricks on talking in riddles so you can't understand what's being said. Things that people don't even think that are going on within the home, those things are going on. And I say that abusers are strategists, because you can go to work all day and have a bad day and want to go upside your boss's head, but because you know you need that paycheck, you're going to check yourself and you're going to bring that in, but you go home and now you exhibit that anger out on the person that's in your home whom you say that you love. So abuse is not just something that, oh, I was mad, I was drunk. Those things, and they enhance the abuse, but that's already there. that behavior pattern is there, and that is something that has to be, like Dr. Sherry was saying, you have to admit that there is a problem. And abusers blame other people. You made me. Look what you made me do. I did this because of you. No, it's because of what, like you said, mixed emotions of what's going on. But even to another level, it's a spiritual thing. If you look in the land, that spirit is trying to take over our youth. I mean, it's something that we have to come against with prayer. Yes, you can go sit on a psychiatrist's couch, and I do not downplay that, because they all have a place. Everything plays its part in your healing process. But you also, prayer, a faith system, sometimes your faith is the only thing that helps you hold on, and that brings you through that place of pain, that place of anguish, that place of despair, that place of shame, that place of fear. I mean, the emotions and the dynamics that a domestic violence victim goes through, or someone that's in a dating violence relationship, they're vast and they vary. So it's like you just can't put your finger on one thing. It's all over the place. So the forgiveness part that you talked about, Giovanni, is something that I always say. Forgiveness is what frees you. It releases you. When you continue to become bitter, and we may pass through bitterness because you have to get processed through these areas to be able to get to healing. Healing is a process. Forgiveness is a process. Like Dr. Gaither said, you don't just wake up one morning and say, "Oh, I forgive you." It's a process. You're going through so many different emotions, and our faith, believing God. You got to sometimes truly believe, God, help me forgive this person because they've hurt me so bad. But you have to free yourself.
I think he made a statement about you're no longer the victim, or you're not the victim. I remember God saying to me, do you want to be a victim, or do you want to be victorious?
Oh, yes.
And the choice, because whatever decision you make, you take ownership. And when you take ownership of a victim mentality, the enemy, the devil, tries to give you entitlement. I'm entitled to feel this way. I am entitled to act this way. I'm entitled to respond this way. And once you feel I'm entitled, then you isolate yourself, and you don't try to help yourself. You don't try to walk through the process, and it is a journey. It's not a one-time thing. It's a battle to be made whole. Healing and wholeness are two different things. The moment you say that I want to be victorious, means that you're going to get up, you're going to get your second wind, and you're going to fight for your life. Because as you said, what you did and who you are two different things. So even for yourself, what has happened to you and who you can become are two different things. And I bless you, because when you can look at someone who has hurt you, wounded you, abused you physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and see them and the spirit, see them for who they are, and then that spirit that may have used them, and be able to separate that speaks volumes. But only God can give you that type of forgiveness. Only God can help you. As I always tell people, I have the scars of having been wounded, scars of having been bruised or burnt, as you can see from my arm, but they don't hurt anymore. And it comes to the point where your mind is not like a computer with a delete button. We can't delete memories, but they don't have to control us. Right. They don't have to paralyze us. They don't have to keep us in bondage. And you are a true example, and you are, because I do believe your mess and your misery can become your message. And what you have done is turned your hurt and pain into something that can bless other people.
Okay. So, no, good, great. That's really, I love this. You want to? We got about 5 minutes left. Okay, you want to tell them about the program? And you gonna be on Doctor? You gonna be up there on the stage? What? At the church? Okay. You gonna be there? Yes. So if you want to tell them about it, if they can come meet y'all live.
We want to just reiterate that on Saturday, October the 13th, in recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, From Pain to Purpose is partnering with Stronghold Christian Church in Latonia, Georgia, to hold and present, to bring the community together. We're going to be sponsoring a domestic violence and teen dating violence rally and panel discussion. It's from 9 a.m. until 12:30. The rally is from 9 till 10:30, and then we'll have a 15-minute break to transition into the panel discussion, and the panel discussion will be from 10:45 to 12:30. That is the place where the community can ask questions of those who we have esteemed leadership, community leadership coming, and that's going to be a part of the panel. Our national, Giovanni Bezan, who is a national youth speaker, motivator, and mentor, and advocate. He will be our speaker, one of the speakers at the rally. We have the mayor of Ladonia called before I was leaving today. She's confirmed to just come and give greetings. We have people that's walking in heavy advocacy through the community. We are working with the contest. We're actually asking for the youth to make signs to bring to the rally. We're asking for church organizations to have their youth departments, to have them make signs to bring to the rally, and to come out prepared to have a good time. We have people we have a representative from Fabulous Life International, Prosper Miller. She's a woman on fire. She is going to be one of our speakers at the rally. We have so many different speakers at the rally, so many different activities for the youth. We have some special things. We need some youth. We need volunteers. And we have something that we're trying to do with the youth called the Alter Ego Domestic Violence Faces. So we need youth to be a part of that. And if you contact us, we can let you know. You can go onto our Facebook page, which is Domestic Violence and Teen Dating Violence. As soon as you start typing up domestic violence and with the and sign, it'll pop right up. And you click right on that event. Come on, let us know that you're coming. It is free, but we ask that you let us know that you're coming so we can know who to prepare for. We're looking for, if you would like to donate goods or services, please let us know. There's so much that we need that we were trying to do on that day. We have people that are going to be sitting on the panel, from political people, law enforcement, medical, every area. So please contact us on our Facebook page, and also you can contact me at alyons.frompain2purpose@gmail.com. alyons, Lyons, at frompain2purpose@gmail.com. And you can contact our youth speaker here.
You can contact me on my Facebook at facebook.com/I'mGiovanBazan. I'm Giovanni Bazan, or by my email, youthspeaker.success@gmail.com.
And also Stronghold Christian Church,
Give them the phone number,
770-322-9010 for more information. So contact us. We look forward to celebrating this victory in the community with you on Saturday, October the 13th. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with me this week. It's awesome, man. I do something else. so thank you for being with Friday with Fred. We had a great time here with the three young people. Have a nice week. Remember, whatever you're going through, take it to the man in prayer, and he will answer. Just take a little time. One mom just say, might not come when you want it, but it's right on time. So take it in prayer and come out and see Giovanni and Dr. and Pastor Lyons. I get my hand on many times. If you want to get in personal, give me a call here at the station, 404-477-0300. Thank you. God bless you. And y'all have a nice week. And I hope to see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.